Heyo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. Yo, who else is pumped that it's Friday? Because I know I sure enough am. And today, actually, before we get going, I want to tell you guys that I have a new beginner guitar course coming out Sunday. This has been over a year in the making, this course. It's called Rock and Roll Boot Camp. It's for beginners. It's my first beginner guitar course. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I cannot tell you how proud I am of this. Like, this has been so much work, and yo, this Sunday, I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff next week. A beginner-themed video week next week. But today's video is all about this guy. So I thought I would do one, like I said, guitar stories, but then I was like, well, you know, maybe if this guitar could talk would be a better title for it, but we'll see what ends up, you know, happening in the title. But I've had this guitar for a while, and it's kind of a cool story of how it even became mine. I used it live a bunch, kind of tore some stuff up on it. And I thought I would just kind of tell the story, but, you know, please leave comments down below if you have funny stories, just, you know, just shenanigans that you and your guitar have gotten into. I think would be a pretty cool thing to do. But we're going to go into this. You guys can let me know if this is like a series when we do. I have other guitars that I've owned for a long time, and, you know, they all got stories. So let's just go and dive into it. Alright, so how did this guitar even come to be mine? Well, it all started actually in a buddy of mine, Bill. Bill Thompson owned this guitar. He has a bunch of really cool Charbels. Me and Bill have always been like the 80s brothers. You know, we both huge Warren D. Martini fans, huge Lynch fans. Anytime we're together, we're instantly just, you know, nerding out about, you know, Eddie Van Halen's tone and all this kind of stuff. So this was actually his guitar, and he ended up selling it to a music store, and my buddy worked there, and he calls me. I was asleep on the couch. I remember this is before we lived in this house. This is years ago. I was asleep on our couch, and it's funny what you remember. I remember the exact couch. It was this old couch that, you know, was given to us, and I wake up, and I'm just kind of like, huh? And I just get a text from my buddy Russ, and he's like, dude, check this out. And he sends me a picture of this, you know, on the counter, and I'm like, dude. I'm like half awake. I'm like, it's mine. Just set it back. And I remember, I think I got it for $350. I believe that's what I paid for it. And as soon as like I said, I saw it, I knew. And it has the original neck pickup in it, which is the actual Charvel Jackson single coil, which I think sounds pretty good. You know, overall, I don't have like a ton of distortion and everything going on right now, but I think that it sounds good. But I always thought it sounded great, so I never bothered switching it. It does have a Duncan Custom in it, which sounds good. Like I said, I think I'd like something that's a little less high output. This is a pretty hot pickup, so like I said, I think it sounds good. It just may be a little bit too compressed for what I like. But, you know, I just left it as it is, as I do with most guitars. And what was really interesting that stuck out with me, so a lot of these Predators or 3DRs and stuff that came out in the 80s all had a reverse headstock. I shouldn't say all had it. I think some of the, I think I saw a Predator, maybe the Predators had a normal headstock like this, but they all had rosewood fingerboards. I don't believe any of them came with maple. Anybody who's like a Charbel, you know, aficionado, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they all came with rosewood. And that's why this one really stuck out to me, because, you know, I was all about maple necks. I still am, but, you know, I've really gotten to like rosewood a lot now. But I saw this, I'm like, I've never seen one with a maple neck on it before. Well, that's because it is just a Model 1 neck. So this essentially, it's like a mutt guitar, you know. I think the neck is around 87, 89, maybe 90. I mean, it hasn't went to the toothpaste logo yet, but and the body is around that time as well. And, you know, what was cool about the Charbels is you could take a, you know, Model 1 neck, put it on a Model 2, Model 2 neck, put it on a Model 1. They were all the same neck pocket. So, yeah, of course, I got the guitar. And I'm like, oh my God, I got an 80s machine. And I was in a band at the time, and I showed up to practice with this one, and they're just like, yes. And I'll be honest, I think this has one of the nicest, like I've seen a lot of Crackles, and oddly enough, they're not all the same. Like, it's not just some, you know, paint job that they just threw on every single one. They're not all identical, they're all different. And this is probably one of the nicest looking cracklings on the body. Is that a word, cracklings? It is now. And this guitar is just, It's smoking. It was in a little bit better shape when I got it. Like I said, I used it live a bunch and kind of tore up some stuff, which I'll talk about here in a second. But that's really how this guitar came to be. Like I said, sleeping on the couch, probably dreaming about an 80s shred machine. My buddy calls me up. Let's see if that's him right there. No. That's where this one came from. So, you know, thanks to my buddy Bill for getting rid of it, and thanks to my buddy Russ for telling me about it. And it's lived here ever since. And this is one of the guitars that I'll never get rid of, you know, unless I would need to for some reason. But as far as like selling it, you know, I never plan on selling this guitar. It's just, I don't know. I love it. Take a ride on the wild side. I don't know how to play that riff, but I'll play a Motley Crue song for you. I think I played it wrong, and he's tuned down a full step, but whatever. So, the live side of this guitar is obviously I got it, and the guitar is awesome. It has this, I think Bill said whoever owned it before him broke the neck on. I have the original chainsaw case, which if you haven't seen the Charvel chainsaw cases, they're super cool. They're very similar to the Gibson ones. But whoever had it before him had taken all the finish off this neck. And something really interesting about this guitar is all the years I've had it, like I said, we've moved. You know, in Ohio, the weather is ridiculously unpredictable here, so it's constantly shifting. I have a lot of guitars. Like my gold top neck moves all the time. Whenever there's big, you know, like when the seasons change, that thing has been moving. Not tons, but a little bit. But this neck has never moved. My KM Les Paul, it's never moved. Literally, it's so stable. It's that maple neck. I think it has to be the maple. 335 hasn't moved. There's other ones too, but this one, being a simple two-piece maple neck from the 80s, it is like the most stable neck I've ever seen. And actually, I think it had 9-gauge strings on it, and I changed it to 10s, never adjusted it. It's just like it's I don't know, maybe it's made out of maple graphite or maple titanium, whatever. But it's incredibly stable. I said, and all the live uses and being thrown around, it's never done anything. And mine actually, overall, still has a pretty good point on the headstock. You know, you'll see a lot of Charvel guys talk about, you know, if the point has been compromised and knocked off, because a lot of them, that little tip on the, I think it's not a hockey puck, but headstock gets broken off. So that was it. So like I said, I had it live, and I think my favorite memory of this guitar live was the strap button came off, of course, one time. that was a great one. And my favorite, though, was I was in a band, we were called the Dean Scream. Oh, yeah. So we had this big song called Going Solo. And basically it was a little bit of singing. I can't remember the riff anymore. It was tuned down. It was out of B, I remember that. But me and my buddy, Eric Barker, so together we were nicknamed the Killer Bees, Baker and Barker. And he's an amazing guitar player. But we had this, you know, big trade-off solo. So we're just trading off. And usually at the end of the night, it's after we've done our set and all this other stuff. So our hands are shot because it's like 10, 15 minutes of just straight soloing. We're just over the, you know, trading off back and forth, back and forth. And we end it and we're like, you know, all hyped up. I'm like, woo! And we like go to end the set. And this is the first time we've ever done this. First and last time we ever did it. We slid our guitars against each other to end it, because it was like, you know, we're doing like a bar gig, and we slide the guitars against each other, and my pickup slug, that's why I don't have a knob on it, and it actually bent it and broke it, got caught in his strings. And, you know, and I pull it, and it breaks his strings, breaks the top off my thing, bends the pickup selector, so I can't, you know, do anything with it, and I just have to, like, bend it back real quick. And mine stayed in tune, but that was like, that's my favorite story of this guitar. And like I said, it's got some bumps and bruises from getting hit by her bass player, smacked the guitar or the singer, and I don't know. It's just one of those guitars I love to look at, and just full of good memories with this guitar. And like, you know, like I said, Warren DeMartini, George Lynch, Nuno, all these '80s guys, Paul Gilbert are my favorites. They're my heroes, and this guitar just makes me think of, like, what would it have been like to play this guitar back in the 80s? How cool would that have been? But that's going to be it, guys. That's the story with this here guitar. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want more of these, like I said, a bunch of these guitars I've owned for a long time, and I'd love to tell stories about them. But let me know your stories down below. Like I said, be looking Sunday, that Rock and Roll Bootcamp guitar course. Literally, I haven't released a new course in 2 years. And this one is something I'm so proud of. I've literally worked harder on this than anything else I've ever done. So that'll be out on Sunday. And other than that, guys, yo, just have a good weekend. You know, I'll see you Sunday with the announcement videos, a live stream this weekend. And yo, just grab your guitar. And I'm gonna play us out of here. Let me turn this delay off. And I'll lay down some riffaroonies for you so you can jam to.